Chapter.
Good evening. The time is 7:34, and I will call this public hearing and regular business meeting of the Mayor and Council for the City of Snellville, Georgia, for Monday, July 27th, 2020, to order. First, we'll have the invocation by Councilwoman Gretchen Schultz.
Take my mask off to speak. Dear Lord, it is with a strong faith in our God that we come to you tonight in this time of unrest and turmoil in some parts of our country. For many of us, these days are filled with news of events that are unlike anything we have ever experienced. And so many of us are very frightened for our country. We ask you to guide all people towards peace and understanding of one another and a renewed appreciation for this great country. We pray for those who are currently suffering with COVID-19, and we are grateful for the recovery of our fellow council members Todd Warner and Christy Linsky. We ask you to protect those of us who have not yet been ill with the infection. And we ask you, Lord, for help for our doctors and scientists in finding treatment and a vaccine. And in the meantime, we ask that all people may practice those recommendations we've been told will help protect us and other people. We especially pray for the children and the families in Snellville as they approach the start of a new school year that will be unlike any other they have ever known. We also pray for our teachers, our cafeteria workers, our school administrators, custodians, as they work toward providing the best education possible for their students. And we pray for the parents who are trying very hard in this, with the added responsibilities of overseeing at-home digital learning and with the many, many responsibilities that they already have. We also pray for Snellville. Bless those who serve our city as police officers, first responders, healthcare workers, our city staff members, board members, and our many volunteers who give so many hours of valuable time. May they know how much we appreciate them. We also pray for all of our business owners, many of whom are struggling very much during these very difficult days. Thank you for all those blessings you have given us, and we ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Gretchen. Next, we'll have the pledge to the flag led by Wes Nettleson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Wes. Now we have the minutes. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes of the June 22nd, 2020 meetings.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
So motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. I just got word that under our committee reports for the Snellville Youth Commission, Chanel Stevens, our new advisor, will not be here tonight. So we'll postpone that. Next, we'll have the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda for the July 27th, 2020 City Council meeting.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
So motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. It is 6 in favor and none opposed. So we'll move on with the agenda as approved. We have one item under our public hearing. We have item A, provide citizens the opportunity to submit written and oral comments on the proposed 2020 millage rate. Butch, do you want to give just a quick update on the millage rate? Oh, I guess you don't have a microphone, do you?
Every year, one of our most important jobs that the mayor and council has is to set a millage rate. This year, we're about a month behind because of COVID-related delays from the county. And we had a digest which, very fortunately for us, had good growth in it this year. And if you remember, when we adopted the FY21 budget, we told everybody that the revenue stream from the FY21 budget was based on a constant millage rate of 4.588 mils. The state calls that, if we proceed to adopt a millage rate next Monday, we have 2 more meetings Monday, 3 necessary meetings. If we proceed to adopt that, it's called a tax increase. The rollback rate, which would take advantage of new growth on the digest and not take advantage of reassessment growth, was lower than that. It would save about, on an average home value in the city is about $200,000. If we rolled back the rate, it would save taxpayers of owners of an average home, about $10, $9 to $10. That's a possibility. It's a policy decision that the mayor and council have to make. And that's why we have these hearings, to hear from the public and to discuss it among ourselves. And I'm going to be providing some more information to help your discussion on that. But that's how the process works. So this is the first public hearing to hear public input on the millage and where the mayor and council set that.
Thank you, Butch. So now I'll open up the floor. If anyone would like to come and submit a comment to the council on the millage rate, please step forward and give your name and address for the record.
Kurt Schultz, 2027 Tanglewood Drive. I implore the council, please keep at least the millage rate the same as it is now. We don't need to go backwards. We've got counties and cities all around. Well, Gwinnett County is raising their millage rate, and because they specifically want to keep their police officers and hire additional police officers. If we drop back our millage rate, I can promise you, we're going to lose police officers to nearby counties. They won't even have to move. They'll just be down the street, either here or in Lawrenceville. They're giving substantial raises to their officers and other city employees. We're adding new businesses into the city. Our public works department needs, we're losing people. I heard that we've lost 2 employees down there, and not planning to hire any back. And, we're going to need more people as things, improve. And for $8.64 a year for, a $200,000 home, this is just ridiculous to even consider it. It's a shame they call it a tax increase. It should be just I don't know what's a better word for it. But, remember almost 2 years ago to the day, you all gave yourself 100% raises here, and I think it'd be a shame not to be able to give our city employees and police department raises. We need them to get the raises here in the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schultz.
Kelly McAloon, 2916 Overwood Lane, Snellville, Georgia. I am also in favor of keeping the millage rate the same and not rolling it back. I think it's really critical listening to the news on how other cities are trying to engage and offer bonuses for signing for police officers. I think it's really important that we can be competitive in our salaries for police, public works, and other city employees. And I also think for roads, because that all goes for that, correct? For the roads in the city as well. So why would we even think about rolling back? Stay the same. Other cities are staying the same, and like Kurt said, some are going up. So I am totally in favor of just staying where we are for a matter of $10 a year. Why would we even think about rolling back? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McAloon. Anyone else? Seeing no other public to give comment, I will close the public hearing. We will have 2 additional meetings that will be open to the public for public comment on the millage rate. That would be Monday, August the 3rd at 11:30 a.m. and then a second meeting on Monday, August the 3rd at 6:30 p.m. So it's Monday, August 3rd. We have 2 meetings, one at 11:30 in the morning and one at 6:30 and in the evening. And in the meantime, anyone who's listening or watching this video, of course, you can always submit your comments directly to Mayor and Council through our email, or call or email Butch Sanders, and we'll be happy to take your comments and share them with the rest of Council. So we will close the public hearing and we'll move on. We have nothing under the consent agenda and no old business. So we'll move into new business. We have item A, second reading ordinance 2020-11, amend the Code of Ordinances, City of Snellville, Georgia, Chapter 38 and Chapter 6, to provide for provisions regarding consumption of alcoholic beverages in public within the Snellville Town Center, to provide severability, to provide for repeal of conflicting ordinances, to provide an adoption and effective date, and to provide for other lawful purposes. Just a quick comment on what we're doing here. This is to allow the carrying of alcoholic beverages within our town center development area. With the ordinance also comes a map that outlines that area. So it's very distinct and confined to the town center area. And of course, all of this will come about with the town center being built and structured. With that, is there a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 2020-11 as read by the mayor.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Do any council members wish to make a comment?
One thing I think I read that might be important to state is I believe there's a 2-drink maximum for people in the town center, so I think that's important to know.
And also, all beverages have to be in either paper, cardboard, or plastic, no metal, no glass. And that's specific in the ordinance.
With that, we have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, please raise your right hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. Now we'll move on to item B, second reading ordinance 2020-12, amend the Code of Ordinances, City of Snellville, Georgia, Chapter 42, Parks and Recreation, to provide for provisions regarding special use permits for outdoor sale and consumption of alcoholic beverages on park property, to provide severability, to provide for repeal of conflicting ordinances, to provide an adoption and effective date, and to provide for other lawful purposes. Is there a motion?
Motion to postpone ordinance 2020-12 until we can have further discussion and devise a plan.
So there's a motion to postpone. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any comments of council? Then with that, all in favor, please raise your right hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. Next, we have item C, consideration and action on award of bid COS 200508, request for qualifications for construction manager at risk services for town center parking deck construction. Do you want to give a little explanation on this?
Of
Or
all
Tony?
the different parts of the town center, the most important one for moving the timeline along is the parking deck. To expedite construction of the parking deck, we looked at all the different ways you can build a building. And construction manager at risk is a method that is the quickest and the fastest, and also really provides the most oversight to the construction of a building. So that's why we put out a CM at risk RFQ, and we had 8 firms who responded. 4 of those were shortlisted, and they came and interviewed to a review committee made up of Councilman Warner, Mayor Pro Tem Emanuel, Mr. Van Otteren, and myself. And we came to a unanimous recommendation that Winter Construction be hired as our construction manager at risk, and to begin working on a contract and working toward what's called a guaranteed maximum price as soon as the decision is made by the council. So our recommendation is for Winter Construction to be named the contractor and to move towards a contract with a GMP at an initial fee, pre-construction cost of $15,000.
What's a GMP? You said for GMP.
I'm sorry. The GMP is what we're working toward. They would be hired as a CM at risk.
Okay, with that explanation, is there a motion?
Motion to approve Winter Construction as construction manager at risk and to award $15,000 as pre-construction costs to do the work necessary to get a guaranteed maximum price proposal or quotation for completion of the parking deck.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any comments by council? Nope. Then with that, all in favor, please raise your right hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. Next, we have item D, consideration and action on adoption of Resolution 2020-11 to include municipal boundaries as part of the Gwinnett County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan. I do have a little explanation that was provided for me, so unless somebody wants to jump in, I'll just read this off. The Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan identifies hazards, man-made and natural, that can impact the county and the individual municipalities within it. The goal of the plan is to identify ways to mitigate those hazards and implement mitigation projects that are identified by each jurisdiction. By participating in adopting the plan, the city's eligible funding for pre-disaster mitigation projects via the pre-disaster mitigation grant and post-disaster recovery funding, such as public assistance funding for COVID-19. We can be eligible for up to 75% reimbursement. If the city doesn't accept the plan or participate, then we forfeit any federal aid money that's associated with these projects that's offered by FEMA. So with that explanation, is there a motion?
Motion to approve Resolution 2020-11 as read by the mayor.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. Now moving to item E, consideration and action on award of bid CPL 2020-001, Greenway Phase 1 construction, and authorization for mayor to sign final contract. Butch, do you want to?
You've been involved from the beginning, so.
This
Great step.
is a huge step for the city. In 2018, the city adopted a master greenway plan. And this plan provided greenway trails throughout the city. It'll connect town center, all around the town center trail, and then it'll connect town center to Briscoe Park, which we've gotten a grant from Gwinnett County in the CBDG funding. Did I say that right?
CBG, Community Development Block.
There you go. The initials are not popping in my head here. But we've gotten a grant to start work on that phase, which will take us from Town Center to Briscoe Park. We've already got sidewalk access from Town Center to Oak Road Park. The eventual master plan will allow these trails to meet up with Gwinnett County's trail system. So then we'll connect in with all of Gwinnett County. So it's a monumental step. This contract here is to do phase 1, which is the part of the Greenway Trail that's going to be around the town center. So this is a major milestone for the city, one in that we adopted this plan that Austin, our former city planner, was very instrumental in creating that plan for us. And we're very appreciative of his work and just very excited to be moving this forward. So with that explanation, is there a motion?
Motion to authorize the mayor to sign the final contract with the Dickerson Group for Greenway Phase 1 in the amount not to exceed $1,222,112.50.
There's a motion. Oh, can you read that number one more time?
What I wrote down was $1,222,112.50.
Hang on, we might have a,
It's the copy I have. It says 1122112.
Did I write it down wrong?
yeah. You just got those numbers from-
copied it wrong off there.
It's the second one down.
I'm sorry, $1,122,112.50.
Very good, thank you. So there's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Who was that?
Solange.
Solange. Any comments by council? Then all in favor, please raise your right hand. That is 6 in favor and none opposed. Yay! That ends our business meeting, so we will move to council reports. Councilmember Solange Destang.
Good evening. On Saturday, July the 11th, I had the honor of sitting in on the Lead Center and Foundations Board meeting and was pleasantly surprised to learn what this organization is all about. I know you are probably asking, what does the acronym LEAD stands for? LEAD stands for Law Enforcement Agencies Assisting in the Development of Students. In 2006, the CEO, Karen Foote, formed the LEAD organization. This organization has been providing help for students facing a variety of issues, ranging from failing in school to being involved in criminal activities, mentorship, career readiness services for youth in alternative schools, and the court system. Due to the COVID, this program has been put on a standstill. I will share more information with you periodically. You can also talk to me after this meeting if you have additional questions on the LEAD organization. As a reminder, starting August the 11th, census takers will go out into the community to interview households that have not yet reported via the phone, internet, or in person to the Census Bureau. Avoid that knock on your door. Please visit the My 2020 Census.gov website to take the census. I promise you that it takes only 10 minutes or less for you to complete it. Right now, Snellville stands at 72%. Let's try to aim for a higher percentage. Also, just a friendly reminder that the COVID numbers are still high in our county. I want to remind you to please continue wearing your mask, wash your hands, and practice social distancing. And together we can beat this. Thank you.
Thank you, Solange. Councilmember Warner?
I want to thank everybody who showed up tonight. It's important for us to have the public, to have our ear and to hear what you have to say. I'm a little disappointed that more of y'all didn't stand up and speak out. Hopefully you will in public comments. But again, for being here, and if you didn't hear, if you're one of the 2 people in the world who didn't hear, I had COVID, I'm okay now, and 2 of my children also came down with it. It is nothing to play with, and I would highly recommend you listen to the guidelines of the governor and the CDC to wear your mask, wash your hands, be careful. It's not something you want to get. It put me out for 2.5, 3 weeks, and it was not like having a vacation. So please take care of yourselves, and I'll try to do the same for me.
Councilmember Linsky?
I want to take a moment to thank everyone for their kind words and prayers as I too struggled with the COVID virus. I haven't had a symptom probably for about a week and a half at this point, and just to emphasize how every event somehow has a blessing attached to it. On this Thursday, I will become a COVID-19 convalescent plasma participant, and I will begin to hopefully provide antibodies to cancer patients who are suffering from COVID. So I'm hoping to continue along with that. I'm allowed to donate every 28 days, and that's going to be an important part of the recovery for the nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Schultz?
I want to bring you up to date on a new feature at the community garden that we now have. And it's been a few years now since some folks made a donation to the community garden in memory of Rick McGranahan, who is Carol and Tom Witz's son. And it took us a while to be able to get around to using this money because we had to build a pavilion. Then we had when I say huge, I mean huge with a capital A huge sinkhole in the garden that we had to deal with. But we now have a water feature, as you can see. This is a picture of it right next to the pavilion in the garden. And this is what we used the money that was donated in their memory. This is what we used money for. And the 3 gentlemen in the picture are the 3 who put all the labor into the water feature, and I wanted to recognize, 2 of them are here tonight, and I wanted to recognize them, and that would be Kurt Schultz and Wes Nettleton. If you'd stand up. And Wes is our lead master gardener at the community garden. And then the other gentleman in the photo is Brian Hughes, and he is a retired hydrologist, and he's built a couple of ponds himself, and he was just a tremendous help to us in knowing how to go about doing it. And I also wanted to thank Butch Sanders. About a week or 2 ago, I showed him this picture of the water feature, and he immediately got his checkbook out and donated money to the garden for the water feature. So we were very, very grateful for that. And I also wanted to show you a couple other pictures of the garden, because I know you all don't get there on a regular basis. This is actually Wes's bed. And I think, are those your pole beans, Wes? Those are his pole beans. You can see how healthy they look, and he's gotten a good harvest off of them. And the next picture, those are some tomatoes. We have a lot of tomatoes in the garden right now, lots of tomatoes. So that's just one of the typical beds showing the tomatoes. And then one of our other master gardeners just enjoys using her bed just to grow flowers. And it's always just beautiful. And that street behind that you see, that's Sawyer Parkway in the park. For those of you that aren't sure of the location of the garden, it's at the intersection of Marigold Road and Sawyer Parkway, right across the street from Public Works. And is there one more photo, Erica? I can't remember. Or is that it? That's it. Okay. I just wanted you to kind of see how nice the garden looks. And so we're very, very grateful to those that, put in a lot of sweat equity. Lifting those rocks was not an easy task for these 3 retired gentlemen. So thank you very much.
Wes just told us tonight, he maintains several beds for the co-op, and he's been making 2 trips a week out to the co-op tomatoes, and I don't know how many pounds you've taken out there, so that's another thing.
Big tomato year, and they get a lot of tomatoes right now.
Great.
Mayor Pro Tem Emanuel?
Thank you. On July 18th, we did another cleanup on Oak Road, and we had 4 people showed up. I want to thank Rebecca Mitchell and Brian Arrington, and myself and one other woman who we don't know just showed up, and we picked up 7 bags of trash, a real nice garden hose, some wood, and some signs, and it's looking a lot better than it did the first time we did it. It was 33 bags. So the litter pickup continues, and there's never an end to the litter. So remind your friends, and I know a lot of people go out and pick up litter when they walk the dog or just when they see something. So we're trying to make our city look good, and I think it's looking better, and if we can keep the momentum going, we can keep the streets pretty clean. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. And just a few things. We here on the City Council have been, we've gotten quite a few emails requesting, half of them or so are requesting us to do something for making masks mandatory. About half of them say, please don't do that. So I did just want to address the situation. I'm sure everybody's heard on the news that several cities have done mandatory masking, and now there's a dispute with legal action between the governor's office and the mayor of Atlanta. We are still in conversations weekly, we being all of the city mayors and the Gwinnett County Commission chair, along with Dr. Arona, who's the head of Gwinnett Newton Rockdale's Public Health Department. We're on a weekly call with her to discuss where we are currently, what the current numbers are, what is she seeing, how does she interpret the numbers. It's been a wealth of information. She's helped advise people individually. She's really been very easy to access and has been a wonderful help and support to everyone here in Gwinnett County in helping us decide what events we should move forward with, what we shouldn't do. But we are on these weekly calls, and the thought that Gwinnett County had was, just like when we shut things down, if we were going to move to a mandatory masking policy, we would need to do that in conjunction with all the other cities in Gwinnett. Otherwise, it's just too hard to manage. No one has taken that step yet in Gwinnett County, and with the current legal issue with the state, personally, I don't think that's prudent for us to move forward. We have enough chaos, we have enough craziness, we have enough turmoil that we don't need to invite a legal battle that there's no winners in. What we are doing is encouraging everyone to do what we know what needs to be done. Wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance, avoid large gatherings. These are the things that we know will help impact the spread of this virus, and this is what we are encouraging everyone to do. I'm heartened to see several of the large retailers taking the step that I think needs to be done, which is they are requiring masks to enter their stores. For me, enforcement, if the city were to take this step, it's awfully hard for the government to enforce this. The city would have to spend resources. We'd have to be sending out our police officers every time we got a call that somebody was in the produce department at Publix without a mask on. And then we get into all sorts of issues with that. So I just vote that our resources, our police officers, our funds to fund those police officers are better spent fighting crime and leaving to people to do what they know personally they should be doing to minimize this virus. So that's where I stand on the mask issue at this point. But I am glad to see that the stores are stepping up because they can enforce this policy. You either wear a mask when you walk into their store or you don't go into their store. It's a whole lot easier for them to do it at their level than for the city to come in and try to implement or enforce a standard like that. So we are continuing these weekly calls with all of the city mayors, and the county commission has been very, very important and helpful for all of us to be working together and talking about issues and what's coming up. So we will be continuing those calls. Just wanted to note too, you may have noticed at the SunTrust Bank building, there is work going on. That's the remodeling for the new post office. We're hoping those contractors will move along and finish by mid to late October so the post office can move before the Christmas season starts for them. And with that, I will end my mayor's report and we will open the floor to public comment. If anyone would like to make a comment, please step forward.
I'm going to try to do this with the mask on. I think it actually works, right? Yeah. You just want me to take the mask off, but I can hear myself. Good try, though. So my name is Rebecca Mitchell. I actually live outside the Muni, but 3332 Crossing Drive. And I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you to STAT for being really thoughtful about which events they could have, where the social distancing could be put in place, and which events would not be safe for the citizens. I think there is on the internet, you can go look, and Georgia Tech has made an app where you can actually look at how many people in each group. I'm going to take this off because I'm far enough away. You win. You win, Todd. You win. But you can go and look at how many people are in. I know, don't I? I look better too, but my nose is a little weird. Hey, friend, your mask is on. You can go look in this app, and it can tell you at a county level, if you were in a group of 10 people or 25 people, what the probability is that one person in that group has COVID currently. In Gwinnett, if you pull up the number for estimates for this week, in a group of 25, which is about the number that's in this room, the probability that one person currently has COVID in Gwinnett County is 66%. In a group of 10, it's 35%. This is as of right now. And you can actually go do this for different sized events. So when STAT is making the choice to say, we don't think it is prudent for us to have an event that has 500 or 1,000 people, there's science to back up that that's a really thoughtful choice. So I really appreciate it. I do hope to see the county and the municipal areas moving together to think about what steps we can take as far as whether a mask mandate could be put in place. I think also I would love to see municipalities and the county thinking about what we could do proactively without a mandate. Can we make sure that we're handing out masks where public does tend to gather? So what things can we do without the mandate that are still protecting citizens? And I really appreciate the council taking the time, especially Christy and Todd, to talk about your experience so people see that this is really happening to people they know. Because until it happens to somebody you know, it doesn't feel very real. but we're saving lives by sharing those stories, and you're directly saving lives by donating plasma. So I wanted to express my appreciation for both the communication and the action there. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, then I will take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. It's 6-0. We're done. Thank you all for coming out, and I'd like to congratulate Solange for actually getting in on a couple of the motions tonight.